revealed. My daughter's hidden request for money turned into an incredible life-changing moment. Jack's heart raced as he wiped the grease from his hands, the sun barely peeking over the horizon. The garage was quiet, except for the rhythmic drumming of his hammer as he tightened bolts on an old pickup. Yet, despite the early hour, unease knotted in his stomach. Bills piled on the kitchen table like shadows looming over their lives, each one a reminder of the fight to stay afloat after Julie's passing. Then he heard the front door creak open, footsteps approaching. Emily stood there, her bright eyes shadowed by uncertainty, an uncharacteristic stiffness in her posture. "Dad, I need to talk to you," she said, her voice barely a whisper. Instantly, Jack's defenses shot up. "What about?" he said, his tone sharper than intended. Emily shifted on her feet, a flicker of vulnerability passing across her features. "It's about school. I want to apply for a scholarship to the vet program." A pained silence followed. The weight of expectation hung heavily in the air. Jack's chest constricted as disbelief rushed in. "Emily, do you really think we can afford that? We're barely getting by." His frustration boiled over, tears pooled in her eyes. She wasn't asking for much, but to him it felt like a privilege they couldn't grasp. "You don't understand," she cried. "I want to make something of myself. I just want a chance." Suddenly the dam broke. The tension erupted, each word a crack in the fragile bond they shared. Jack's heart sank as their love collided with despair. He turned away, trying to catch his breath, every accusation out of his mouth now weighing on his conscience. Just as he felt ready to retreat into anger and regret, a brochure on the workbench caught his eye. A local scholarship for students like Emily, promise for those fighting against the tide. Doubt crept in. Was it truly legit? A flicker of hope ignited. Maybe, just maybe, this was what they needed. "Wait, hold on a second," Jack said, his voice steadier now as he picked up the pamphlet. This could help." Their eyes met, shock mingling with new excitement. He felt the rush of assurance flow through him. Connecting with other parents and old friends, especially those who had once served in Vietnam, he began to unearth stories of struggle and resilience. Each tale resonated deeper, fueling a commitment to support Emily's dream. Jack remembered his late wife's encouragement, her laughter echoing in his heart. They weren't alone. Yet, just as their hope blossomed, a sudden wave of fear hit him. What if he couldn't keep up with the commitments that came with the scholarship? Each letter from the committee stoked doubts and insecurities. The anticipation of acceptance sat heavy in the air, mingled with worry where hope had flourished moments before. As Jack watched Emily's spirit rise, so did the questions. Could they truly overcome their struggles? Would he be able to provide what she needed? And deep down, could he find his own worth in this shift? Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. The world felt charged with possibilities. Jack held that brochure tightly, fueled by a fierce love and determination to lift each other. Could this be the turning point that would mend their cracks? As they took small steps into the future, the question lingered. Would the bond forged in adversity allow them to rise together? Jack couldn't shake the feeling that life was stretching thin. The antique pickup truck loomed in the garage, a symbol of his past joys and present struggles. He stared down at the brochure in his hands, barely noticing the oil smudges marking its edges. Emily's words echoed in his mind. "I want to make something of myself. Are you ready to do this?" he asked, breaking the silence that draped around them like a heavy curtain. Emily nodded, her determination illuminating the dim garage. "We need to work on the application," she stated, a newfound resolve in her voice. "They need a personal statement. Something that shows who I am." He didn't respond right away. His brain raced. Personal statements? She was looking at colleges while he was just trying to keep the lights on. Yet, seeing her excitement, something stirred deep within him. "All right, what do you want to write about?" "About the animals I've cared for, about what being a vet means to me," she replied, her voice gaining momentum as she spoke. "I want them to see how much it matters. It's not just a job, It's a calling. That word, calling, sent shivers down Jack's spine. His late wife had used the same term when she volunteered at the animal shelter. He felt her presence, a warm reminder of better days. I believe in you, Em, he finally said. A smile breaking through the weight of worry that clung to him. Can you help me? She asked, her eyes sparkling with hope. Of course, let us sit down and brainstorm. They spent hours together, surrounded by stacks of tools and half-empty coffee cups, pouring their hearts into the words that would define Emily's future. The shop filled with laughter, moments of silence, and discussions interspersed with polished thoughts. Jack jotted down ideas, his hands flying across the paper as Emily spoke with passion about her dreams. Dad, what if I talk about the time I rescued that stray? She suggested, her eyes lighting up. Jack's heart swelled with pride as he listened. That's perfect. It shows your compassion. Shows who you are. Time slipped by, and soon they had drafted a personal statement that felt genuine and brave. Jack couldn't believe they'd pulled it together. Yet just as the joy of creation surged inside him, doubt cast its shadow. The truth crept back in. Was this too much? The pharmacy bills, the car expenses, and the unending weight of grief made the future seem bleak. He hesitated, swallowing hard. What if this doesn't work out? What if they don't accept you? Emily's expression shifted, a mix of worry and determination. But what if they do, Dad? What if this chance leads to something bigger? I can't be afraid to try. Her words struck a chord he'd long forgotten. He had to take that risk too. Failure wasn't a measure of worth. It was part of the journey. As the weeks stretched on, Jack found himself transforming his own approach to life. He started cleaning up the garage, fitting pieces of broken machinery together again, even as hope grew around Emily's scholarship application. He watched Emily grow louder, more outspoken, showing her ambition. There were moments when she burst out with excitement over veterinary terms and animal care techniques. Each conversation opened a door, and slowly, the two began to heal together. But as the deadline for submissions approached, Jack's heart pounded with a fresh fear, one he couldn't seem to shake. What if this was just a dream? What if life went on unchanged, their efforts yielding no results? Dad, Emily's voice broke his thoughts one evening as they went over the application one last time. No matter what happens, I'm proud of us for trying. And in that moment, Jack realized she was right. This was about more than just the scholarship. It was about embracing life. Could they face the unknown together? As the day of submission dawned, they stood at the mailbox, release and anxiety swirling within them like a summer storm. But just before dropping the envelope in, Jack paused. Wait, and what is it? She asked, the question hanging in the air, heavy with suspense. Are we ready for whatever happens next? And in that split moment, as the world around them fell silent, the weight of the envelope felt lighter in his hand, as if it could hold not just their hopes, but their transformation into something greater. Would it finally lead them to healing? The envelope slipped from Jack's fingers and time seemed to freeze. Emily's expression shifted from confusion to realization, her eyes widening as she understood the weight of the moment they were in. Dad, what are you waiting for? She urged, her voice a mix of impatience and excitement. Let us do it. He looked at her, a flurry of emotions swirling in his chest. A part of him was terrified of what lay ahead. Yet the other part craved the change, the growth they both so desperately needed. Okay, let us do this. He nodded, resolve solidifying in his heart. Together they dropped the envelope into the mailbox. A leap of faith echoed as the metal clink rang out. In the following days, life began to take on a new rhythm. Jack busied himself with repairs around the house, fueled by a sense of purpose he hadn't felt in years. He spent nights at the garage, fixing up the pickup that had been gathering dust. With each wrench turned and each screw tightened, he envisioned the possibilities that lay ahead for Emily. Look at this, he said one evening, holding up a gleaming hubcap he depolished until it shined. I'm just getting started. What do you think? Emily laughed, her joy contagious. It's perfect, Dad. But you're getting better at this than I am at writing. They shared moments of lightness in between the weighty decisions, laughter mixing with lingering anxiety. Yet, behind the humor, whispers of doubt occasionally crept in. Would she be accepted? Could they afford college? Jack felt the pulse of worry echo in his mind, but he pushed it aside. He had made a promise to Emily to believe in her dreams. Then one afternoon her phone buzzed. The two were sprawled on the old couch, pages of college brochures scattered around them. She jumped up, her heart racing. It's about the application. Jack's stomach sank as he scanned her face, searching for signs. What does it say? She read, her brow furrowing. They want to interview me. They need to see how passionate I am. Dad, this is really happening. The air felt electric, pulsing with potential. Jack's heart soared but was soon tethered by something deeper. An interview? You'll need to prepare, he said, his hands shaking slightly. I know, she replied, a determined glint in her eye. I'll need your help. The days turned into a frenzy of practice sessions. Jack leaned against the walls as Emily delivered her passionate speech, her love for animals pouring out in waves. She refined her words, crafting a narrative that was both authentic and compelling. But underneath the thrill, Jack noticed something different. Emily was becoming more confident by the minute, and he couldn't help but feel a pang of envy. Watching her chase her dreams reminded him of his own abandoned hopes, the dreams he had shelved away since losing his wife. One evening, after a particularly heated practice, Jack looked at Emily, his heart heavy. You know, I used to want to be a mechanic, he confessed. I never had the chance to pursue it the way you are. I don't want you to regret not going after what you love. Emily paused, her eyes softening. Dad, I don't want you to regret it either. It's never too late for you. Tears pricked at the edges of his eyes. But what if I fail? The conviction in her voice echoed in his mind. Failure means you tried. Trying means you pushed boundaries. We're in this together, right? As they prepared for the next step, Jack wondered if it was time for him to step back into the light. Maybe he could build something new with Emily, a future where they both thrived. The day of the interview arrived and Jack sat in the waiting area, stomach twisting. Emily paced nervously, her excitement tempered by apprehension. He felt a mix of pride and worry as he watched her. He leaned in close, whispering, "Remember, no matter what happens, I believe in you." She smiled, her nervousness momentarily silenced. As she walked into the interview room, Jack held his breath, straining to hear the words of encouragement he hoped she would convey. But before he could calm his racing heart, a sudden text buzzed in his pocket, drawing his attention away. The notification was from an unfamiliar number. He opened it, and his heart raced further, the words taking his breath away. I have a request for you that could change everything. What did that mean? He glanced back at the door, anxiety mixing with curiosity. Would this be the moment that turned everything upside down again? Jack stared at the screen, his heart racing as he processed the message. He felt as if the walls had closed in. He tried to convince himself it was just a scam, but the excitement chimed in the back of his mind. The world had a strange way of throwing curveballs, and he had to know more. He quickly typed a response. What do you mean? Who is this? His fingers trembled slightly as he hit send, anxiety weaving through him like a tight knot. The minutes dragged on, his focus shifting back to the closed interview door. He wished he could hear Emily's voice, wishing her luck as she poured her heart into that room. Then, as if the universe was playing with his emotions, his phone chimed again. Hi Jack. It's Anna, an old friend from the auto show circuit. I need your help with a project that could turn our lives around, and I believe you're the right person for it. Anna? The name rang a bell, but it felt like a long-lost memory. Jack and she had bonded over shared dreams of mechanics and cars, decades ago. They had been friends, mentors even, but life had drifted them apart. This message was unexpected, and yet, there was a familiarity that tugged at him. What kind of project? You remember that classic Mustang I always wanted to restore? Well, I finally acquired it. It needs a lot of work, but if we pull it off, I have a buyer interested. With your skills, I know we can make it a showstopper and the sale could change everything for both of us. The thought hit Jack like a jolt of electricity. A classic Mustang, his dream car. His mind raced. Was this the moment he needed to reclaim a part of himself? Could he actually pursue his passion again? But what if he took the risk and it didn't work out? Another text appeared before he could respond. I know you're busy, but I have a feeling about this one. For once, let us push past the fear. This could not only set us up financially, it could lead to opening a shop together. Just think about it. A shop? The idea was intoxicating. The world of grease and engines could be his again. He glanced at the closed interview door, where Emily was pouring everything into her opportunity. Would he feel the same if he chose this path? The heartbeat of the moment drummed louder. He could imagine Anna and him working side by side, skilled hands bringing life back to a forgotten classic. Yet there was the flicker of guilt. What if he neglected Emily's journey for his own? Without realizing it, he stood up, pacing the small waiting area. What if he could find a way to make it work for both of them? Okay, I'll meet you, he finally typed back, his own hesitation replaced with determination. Just as he sent the message, the interview door swung open. Emily stepped out, her face a canvas of hope and anxiety. She held her breath, scanning the waiting area until their eyes locked. Jack rushed toward her, the excitement mingling with uncertainty still coursing through him. How did it go? She grinned, the corners of her eyes crinkling. I think it went really well. I shared everything. Felt right. That smile lit something in him. He pulled her in for a hug, feeling that warmth wrap around them, a steady pulse of family love and ambition. Emily, I think I might have a chance to finally pursue my passion too. But this is new territory, he admitted, his gaze shifting. She released him and stepped back, understanding washing over her. Dad, if you believe you can do it, you have to try. We're in this together, remember? Jack nodded, feeling the weight of her faith saturating him with energy. As they stood there, he clenched his phone, feeling the pull of possibilities. They were both on the brink of something profound. Side by side, they were ready to face whatever challenges awaited. Just then another message lighted up his screen, time to meet. Let us get to work. The nervous thrill bubbled again within him. What would come from this leap into the unknown? And as they walked toward the car, Jack couldn't shake the feeling that their lives were about to transform in ways they both had never imagined. Could the past and the future collide in a beautiful way? Or were they about to discover cracks they never knew were there? Jack slid into the driver's seat, the engine purring to life beneath him. For the first time in a long while, excitement thrummed through his veins, and the familiar smell of the car's interior felt like a warm embrace. He glanced over at Emily, who was still riding high on the wave of her interview adrenaline. Her eyes sparkled with possibilities, igniting his own hopes. Where to? She asked, her smile so infectious that Jack couldn't help but grin back. I need to pick up some tools, he said, feeling the weight of their conversation hanging between them. There is something I need to work on. Can I come? Her eagerness was palpable, and he felt a joyful ache in his heart. Sure. It might be fun. As they drove through familiar streets, Jack's thoughts drifted to Anna's message. He had never imagined that he would be staring down the barrel of such a significant change. Could he really work on the Mustang? Would he again experience the thrill of every twist of a wrench, every moment of creation? When they arrived at the tool shop, it was buzzing with activity. Jack felt a surge of nostalgia as he parked. The sights and sounds, the echo of laughter mixed with the clang of metal, brought him back to simpler days, where car enthusiasts chased dreams amidst oily hands and intricate machinery. Emily took in the scene, her eyes wide. This is amazing, Dad. I didn't know places like this even existed. Just wait until we get back to the garage. That's where the magic happens, he said, hoping to shed a little light on the world that had once pulled him in. After making their selections, they stepped out into the afternoon sun. The warmth washed over them like a reminder that life was full of potential. And Jack turned to Emily. What if I bring the Mustang home? We could work on it together, you know? It could be a cool father-daughter project. She beamed, her enthusiasm contagious. That sounds awesome. I'd love to. We can document it, maybe even create a vlog or something. He laughed at the idea. A vlog? You're really getting ahead of yourself. But who knows? It might be fun. Driving back, they chatted about all the things they could do. But in the back of Jack's mind, the guilt simmered. What if Emily missed out on something because he pursued his own dream? Were there sacrifices to be made that he wasn't aware of yet? Instead of dwelling on those worries, Jack kept his focus on the road and the laughter spilling out between them. They shared stories of their past, a life where grease, engines, and dreams intertwined. When they pulled into the driveway, anticipation flowed through him. The old garage stood sturdy but neglected. Over the years, it had become a storage space more than a place of creation. Let us fix this up, he said impulsively. With a determined nod, they stepped inside. Dust hung in the air like memories of challenges unsolved. Jack started rummaging through boxes, rediscovering tools that felt strange in his hands after so long. He could almost hear Anna's encouragement ringing in his ears, pushing him to grab hold of this moment. "Dad, look at this," Emily exclaimed, pulling out an old car manual. The yellowed pages fluttered like ghosts of projects past. "Wow, I can't believe I kept that." It felt like a tipping point, a way to reclaim lost dreams. But just then, a notification pinged on Jack's phone, breaking the moment. He dared not look, but the anxious flutter returned, the unknown hovering just behind him like a shadow. "What is it?" Emily asked, instinctively aware of his hesitation. "Just Anna. She's waiting for my response." Before he could second-guess himself, he replied, "Ready when you are." Jack felt a wave crash over him. What was he stepping into? A world revitalized or a missed opportunity? The choice ahead was tangled with uncertainty, and he was teetering on the edge. But moments later, he looked at Emily, saw the hope and excitement lighting her expression, and realized something. Embracing adventure came with risks but also unimaginable rewards. Just then, a crash echoed from outside the garage, pulling both their gazes sharply to the window. What was that? Emily gasped. Jack's heart slammed in his chest, fear prickling at the nape of his neck. In that instant, he recognized a new reality stepping over the threshold, a challenge he hadn't anticipated. Was it just the wind? Or were unforeseen complications about to test everything they had just decided? Jack's heart raced as he stared out the window, uncertainty swirling within him. He and Emily shared a silent moment, their eyes darting toward the sound that shattered the stillness. "Maybe it's just a branch falling?" Jack suggested, attempting to calm both himself and Emily's rising nerves. But deep down he felt the tension settle in his gut like lead. They stepped outside together, the sun still bright but now feeling more like a spotlight than a comfort. As Jack scanned the yard, he spotted a figure hunched down near the back of the garage, surrounded by scattered branches and what looked like some gardening tools. "What on earth?" he muttered, squinting to make out the scene. The figure stood up and Jack's breathing stilled. It was their neighbor, Mr. Tompkins. He was old and always a bit grumpy, but they had been on friendly terms. "Sorry about the noise, Jack," Mr. Tompkins called out, waving his hand dismissively. "Just trying to clean up a few fallen limbs before the storm hits. It'll be a doozy." Jack let out a breath he didn't realize he had been holding. "No worries. Just startled us," he replied, putting on a brave face. But the reality of storms, literal and metaphorical, never sat well with Jack. Emily giggled, relieved that the tension had shifted. "He thought it was a monster," she teased, clowning around, her laughter diluting the stress. Mr. Tompkins chuckled in return, and Jack felt a flicker of his earlier excitement creeping back. Yet, even as the distraction of their neighbor faded, another notification blinked from Jack's phone. He hesitated again, the weight of Anna's message a heavy reminder of looming decisions. "Just a text from Anna," he mumbled, stalling. "Do you want to talk to her?" Emily asked, her voice suddenly serious. "Or maybe you should focus on us today?" Her gaze was steady, filled with a sincerity that tugged at Jack's heart. "Let me just give her a quick reply," he said, his voice wavering slightly. He stepped a few feet away, thumb poised over the screen. "Be right there," he called over his shoulder, but his attention was now pulled in two directions. As he typed out a simple response, he felt a tug of regret and excitement. Could he balance both his aspirations and Emily's growing energy? Emily's laughter rang out again, pulling him back. She was spying on Mr. Tompkins, mimicking how he swung his arms while collecting branches, and Jack couldn't help but laugh. "You're crazy," he said, shaking his head. "Crazy fun, Dad," she shot back, a sparkle in her eye, but just then feelings of guilt washed over him. How could he indulge in this moment of joy when a chance to reignite his passion with the Mustang loomed just beneath the surface? When he turned back to check on Emily, she was studying him, her face a mix of playful curiosity and something deeper, in understanding that things had changed in their lives just like the seasons. "Are you okay, Dad?" she asked, her voice small. "Yeah, just processing," he admitted, the honesty spilling from him. He cleared his throat, forcing a smile. "Let us see what's inside that garage. What do you say?" "Let us do it," she exclaimed, her arms pumping with childish excitement. As they stepped into the garage together, the familiar scent of dust and memories enveloped them. But Jack's heart still raced, each pulse drumming a song of hesitation blended with hope. He opened a storage bin, revealing the tools buried inside, and was hit by a rush of nostalgia. The memories flowed freely now, images of summer afternoons spent side by side with Anna, laughter echoing, oil stains on clothes, and the whir of power tools mixing into their rhythm of life. "Wow, is this really what we're going to use?" Emily asked, her voice laced with admiration. "Yeah. Some of these tools can still do wonders," he said, holding up a rusty wrench. Jack glanced out at the yard, feeling the weight of decisions hanging overhead again. Did he dare to reach for the past? Or would it pull him under when he tried to swim? Emily's eyes caught the sparkle of creativity as she ran her fingers over the gears and latches. "I think we can make this really great, Dad," she beamed. But as Jack watched her, a notification chimed again from his phone, insistent and unyielding. "Just a minute," he murmured, stepping back toward the looming shadow of choice. What would it take to truly embrace all that was unfolding? A muffled voice from the phone screen echoed in his mind, as he wondered what the next move would reveal. Was it a new beginning or an overwhelming storm? He took a deep breath, poised on the brink of decision. "What are you going to do, Dad?" Emily asked, tilting her head, an inquisitive spark dancing in her eyes. Jack felt the future hanging on a thread, waiting for him to pull the next one. What would his answer be? Jack stared at his phone as the screen lit up with Anna's text. Each word felt like a tether to a past he both longed for and feared. He took a deep breath, trying to shake off the weight of that unfinished conversation. Emily's question lingered in the air, pressing against his conscience. "What are you going to do, Dad?" she repeated, her eyes wide with expectation. Jack felt the familiar pull of his responsibilities. I need to respond to Anna. It's important," he said, his voice betraying uncertainty. The last thing he wanted was to hurt Emily, but something inside him urged him to reconnect to find clarity amid the chaos. "Can I help?" Emily blurted, her innocent enthusiasm somehow brightening the shadow that loomed in his heart. "Help?" he asked, caught off guard. "How can you help with texting?" "I can keep you company. We can talk about what you want to say." She flashed a smile that could melt glaciers. He nodded, touched by her desire to be involved. "Okay, let us do that." Setting his phone down, he would share his thoughts instead of typing out any hasty response. "What do you think I should say? Should I just ask how she's doing?" Emily scrunched her nose, contemplating. "Maybe ask if she misses you? I know you miss her." "Yes, I do," Jack admitted, his voice absent as he pondered the truth of that statement. The sensation twisted in his gut, a push and pull of longing and guilt. "Then maybe you could say that?" Emily suggested, her sincerity evident in her gaze. "Good idea. But what if she wants something more? Or what if she's moved on?" The thoughts tumbled out, helpless to keep them at bay. "Then she shouldn't be texting you in the first place." Her response came with a fierce undertone. "You should tell her it's been a weird year." Jack felt a swell of gratitude for Emily's understanding. "It has been a weird year, hasn't it?" He could feel the bond rippling with a deeper connection than before. "Yeah, but it's getting better," Emily proclaimed, her optimism unwavering. It was that spark he needed, reminding him how to embrace the moment rather than dwell on the past. The moment felt fragile yet electric, like a wall of storm looming outside but breaking momentarily to reveal a sliver of sunlight. "Okay, I'll start with that," he said, adrenaline rushing through him as he turned back to the phone. While he typed, he felt the tremor of anticipation build inside him, and Emily peered at his screen, her breath held in excitement. "Wow, this makes me feel good. You're doing it." He finished his message and set it down again. "Now I feel like I just tossed a bottle into the ocean," he said, laughing lightly. But beneath that laughter was a tremor of uncertainty. Would she respond? While they waited, Jack couldn't ignore the joy bursting from Emily as she picked up an old power tool, her imagination alive with possibilities. "Can we build something cool, Dad?" "Absolutely. Let us make something amazing," he replied, his heart warming. It was clear that she needed this fun just as he did. But before they could dive into the garage work, Jack's phone chimed with a notification, a response from Anna. His heart leaped, but tension coiled in his chest again. The moment felt surreal, as if time slowed, waiting for him to open it. "Dad?" Emily's voice broke through his thoughts, rooted in the present, but Jack's mind raced through the unknowns. "I need to read this." He held the phone, heart pounding, teetering between the past and the future. What if Anna had made a life-altering decision? How would he even begin to navigate that reality? "Okay." Emily giggled, a mix of excitement and urgency in her eyes. "What does it say?" Jack hesitated, glancing from the screen to her curious face. Could this message change everything? Taking a deep breath, Jack opened the text, ready to confront whatever awaited him. Knowing the answer would steer the course of their lives, what would he discover in that moment? Jack's fingers trembled as he unlocked the message. The words appeared like a heavy wave crashing against the shore, pulling him under. "Hey Jack, I know this is a lot to take in, but I've been thinking about our time together and I really miss you. Things have changed for me. I'm ready to talk if you are." His heart raced as he processed the message. There it was, an invitation to delve back into the chapter of his life he thought had closed. A mingling of excitement and dread washed over him. Did she really mean it? Had she truly changed? "Dad?" Emily's voice was an anchor, pulling him back to reality. "What did she say?" Jack swallowed hard, trying to mask his inner turmoil. She misses me and wants to talk," he replied, the revelation spilling from his lips in a stunned whisper that Emily's eyes lit up. "That's good, right? You should call her." "Yeah, maybe. But it's complicated," Jack said, frustration flaring within him. How could he explain the years of hurt, the way their lives had twisted apart? He glanced at the eager look painted on Emily's face, a pure hope that was impossible to extinguish. "Complicated is where the good stuff is," she said with a knowing smile, her small hand resting over his. Jack took a deep breath, grounding himself in the moment. He looked over at his daughter, her spirit unwavering, a reflection of everything he admired. "What if talking to her changes things between us? Between you and me?" Emily frowned slightly. "But if it makes you happy, that's important too." For a fleeting moment, Jack felt the weight of being a father. Every decision seemed to impact Emily, each choice enough to tip the scales of their lives. But this might also draw him back into the light he had been desperately seeking. The tug of love and guilt intertwined. "All right," Jack said, his voice gaining strength. "I guess I have to start somewhere. I'll send her a text. Just a small one for now." Jack hesitated, the phone feeling heavier in his palm. He typed out a reply, keeping it simple. "I'd like that." It didn't mean everything was fixed. It was just the beginning of something. As he pressed send, a wave of relief washed over him, anxiety blending with newfound hope. He glanced at Emily, who was bouncing a little, as if gathered tension was now released into glittering joy. "See, you did it," she cheered, executing a mini fist pump. His laughter rang out, brightening the cautious corners of his soul. "Yeah, I guess I did." Almost instantly, another text notification chimed. Jack felt his heart race again. Could it be Anna? Or was it just a coincidence? He opened it and saw Anna's name flash across the screen. "I'm glad. I've missed you more than I can say. Let us meet tomorrow?" Jack's breath caught. Tomorrow? Everything within him urged to say yes, yet hidden apprehension curled like smoke against clearer thoughts. "Emily, she wants to meet tomorrow," he said slowly, the weight of those words sinking in. "That's amazing. You have to go. Are you excited?" "Excited is one word for it," Jack muttered, feeling the rapid thumping in his chest. His mind flooded with what-ifs, the responsibility of moving forward tugging at him. What would he say? How would he react? His heart was at war with his brain. "Dad?" Emily's voice was softer this time, bringing him back to the present moment. "What if she wants to come back? Do you think you would want that?" The question hung between them, thick with potential. Jack's heart raced with possibilities. Could he really open that door again? I don't know, sweetie. But I'll find out. And I'll tell you everything." Her face swelled with pride. "You're brave, Dad. Just like the superheroes." In that moment, buoyed by her faith, Jack felt invincible yet terrified, as if standing at the edge of a high cliff. "Thanks, kiddo. Let us see where this leads." Just then the garage door creaked, a reminder that the world outside still awaited them. Want to build that cool thing now? Jack asked, glancing at the tinkering tools closely mingled with the emotions swirling in his heart. Absolutely. She laughed, her energy overflowing. As they moved towards the garage, Jack felt the air around him shift. Maybe tomorrow would bring clarity, or maybe it would bring confusion. But one thing was certain, he was ready to face it head-on, for him, for Emily, and for Anna. What would the meeting reveal? Would it lead to healing or more pain? The morning sun filtered through the curtains, flickering against the walls like a pulse. Jack stood in the kitchen, cradling a steaming mug of coffee. He felt the weight of the day settling around him, thick with expectations and uncertainty. Dad, you okay? Emily's voice was light, breezy, as she warily approached the table, balancing her cereal in one hand. Jack forced a smile, though it felt tight around the edges. Yeah, just thinking. About Anna? She asked, her eyes sparking with curiosity. Jack nodded. The thought of seeing her again was both thrilling and terrifying. Are we still building that thing today after school? Emily broke into a grin, eager to shift the focus. Definitely. That's the plan, Jack said, trying to latch onto her enthusiasm. He took a deep breath, letting the aroma of coffee ground some of his anxiety. The hours crawled by. Every tick of the clock emphasized the wait. Jack was lost in thoughts of what could happen, how he might feel sitting across the table from Anna. Would they easily slip back into the familiarity they once shared? Or would it be awkward, filled with echoes of everything left unsaid? Finally, the doorbell rang just as the sun began to dip low in the sky. Jack's heart leapt. That could only mean one thing: time was up, and he had to face whatever lay ahead. Emily, can you get that? He called out, his voice steady despite the quickening pulse in him. She hurried to the door, swinging it open with a spark of energy. Jack joined her, forcing his feet to move as if they were lead. Anna stood there, slightly disheveled but beautiful, with an uncertain smile that mirrored his own feelings. Jack could see the years etched across her face like the landscape of a changing season. Some beauty still remained, but there were scars that told other stories too. Hey, she said softly, her voice almost a whisper. Hi, Jack replied, the words simple yet heavy with all that had passed between them. Emily peeked out from behind Jack, her wide eyes flicking back and forth between them. Hi, Anna, she chirped, breaking the tension. Hey, sweet pea. It's great to see you. Anna's face lit up with warmth as she bent down to embrace Emily. Jack watched, emotions swirling as he remembered the love they once shared, the joy they found in small moments. We should probably sit. He gestured towards the living room, hoping to draw a sense of normalcy from the air tinged with nostalgia and tension. As they settled onto the couch, Jack felt an unsteady heaviness in the room, a stark contrast to the energy Emily exuded. He noticed how Anna's hands trembled slightly as she played with her own fingers, an indication of the nerves overtaking them both. Thanks for coming, he said, trying to keep his voice steady amidst the uncertainty. Of course. I've wanted to talk about everything, she began, her eyes meeting his, a flicker of vulnerability in them. With the weight of silence pressing around them, Jack couldn't help but wonder what Anna would say. What could she possibly reveal that would change their paths? Emily's voice broke in. Are you guys getting back together? A chuckle escaped Jack's lips, followed by a tightness in his chest. Hold on, kiddo. Let us not jump ahead. But Anna, catching Emily's excitement, smiled gently. It's complicated, but I really want to find out if we can be friends again first. Jack's heart swelled at her words, but worry quickly followed. Could friendship alone mend the years they'd lost, the hurt still buried deep? Maybe this is just the start, he thought, and the words wafted through the room like a needed breath. Anna glanced down, her expression shifting. I have something to tell you, but it's not what you're expecting. Jack's breath hitched. Then we got the truth. What could possibly unravel now? What secrets lay suspended between them, ready to fall? Would this be the healing they both needed or a chance for more hurt? Anna, let us just lay it all on the table, Jack said, his voice coming out steadier than he felt. Anxiety twisted in his gut, but there was also a sting of hope. Could they fix what had once felt irreparably broken? Anna took a deep breath, gathering her thoughts like clouds before a storm. I've missed you, Jack. Not just you as a person, but the life we built, the dreams we shared. But I'm not here just to reminisce. I had to be honest about my struggles too. Jack nodded, feeling the weight of her words, everything they had been through and missed. The love, the hurt, the shared laughter echoing in his memories. What do you mean? With a warm gaze she continued, I went through a rough patch after everything happened. I thought that leaving was what I needed to figure myself out. Her fingers twisted nervously. But it was wrong of me to shut you out, and shutting you out from Emily? That was a mistake. His heart thudded. The realization that she had recognized her own missteps was like a breath of fresh air. I know it wasn't easy for you. I suffered too alone. The flicker of sadness mingling with acknowledgement between them was palpable. I want us to be part of each other's lives again, Anna said, her voice softening. But I know it starts with me being honest. I made mistakes and I haven't handled everything the best. Can we try to find a way back? Jack felt Emily's presence behind him. She was quietly absorbing their conversation, her gaze dancing between the two of them, sensing the tension they weren't quite ready to voice fully. He turned to her, finding that spark of hope reflected in her eyes, just like it had been in his when they applied for the scholarship. Emily deserves both of us to try, he suddenly said, the resolution settling stronger in his chest like steel. We all deserve that chance. He felt Anna's gaze shift toward Emily, her heartwarming grin resurfacing as if to bridge the gaps created for too long. Absolutely, Anna agreed, her eyes glossing over with unshed tears. I want to be there for her. And I want you to know I never stopped caring. You're here now, Jack reminded her, willing himself to embrace the moment despite the hesitation lingering. And it takes time. We're on different paths now, but maybe they can run parallel again. Just then, Emily piped up, her voice light but assuring. We can build something together, right? We just have to put the pieces together. Laughter broke the tension again, settling over them like a warm blanket, a reminder of the small joys amidst everything heavy. Jack felt the weight of his own fears lift a bit. Yes, like building a Mustang. He grinned, catching Anna's smile reflecting his own sentiment. We'll start slow just like we did with the car. Anna laughed, still a trace of nervousness in her smile. I'd love to help. Count me in. Her eyes glimmered with a mix of hope and trepidation, a shared dream waiting to be rebuilt piece by piece. Time unraveled in their shared laughter, filling the gaps left open from years of silence. They could conquer this together however complicated it might be. Jack felt a surge of warmth enveloping him, holding faith in what lay ahead, his heart embracing not just Emily's light but Anna's spirit. Too, as they talked about plans, Jack could see the hopeful future woven in Emily's optimism and Anna's earnestness. Life was like a patchwork quilt full of intricacies, some imperfect, and yet, it was beautiful in its uniqueness. They could make it beautiful again together. Hours rolled into the evening, and as they settled into an easy rhythm, Jack felt a profound sense of connection that hadn't been present for a long time. Just as they wrapped up their plans, Emily piped up. So how about we have a family night tomorrow? Just us three. The hearty laughter that followed wrapped around all of them. Absolutely, Anna agreed, her gaze meeting Jack's, filled with promises. We need to create new memories. That night, as Jack lay in bed, his mind buzzed with excitement for tomorrow. The fear that had crept in earlier was still there, but now it was just a whisper secondary to the roar of hope filling his heart. Maybe it was finally time to embrace the changes they had all endured, forging bonds anew. In the quiet moments, Jack couldn't shake the feeling that they were all standing on the edge of a beautiful new beginning. He didn't need to look at his phone, the journey they all had ahead was already clear as day. This was their moment, a step away from the darkness and towards the light. They would build it together, and just as certainty filled him, it thundered beneath the surface, the weight of choices would always be there. But so would love, and that was worth everything. Now family and dreams hung in the air, bright and alive. The future was an open road, and they were finally ready to drive together. Please listen closely. You need to subscribe now to this channel. Do not wait to miss these exclusive stories that can inspire you. Leave a like to show your support for more amazing transformations. Comment below and share your thoughts. Your reactions matter. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to hear this inspiring journey. This is the moment when true fans make the difference.